Welcome, and hello everyone to episode number 75 of the Stardom Cast. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everybody's having a great week from when I last checked in on you, from the last time we met to talk about all things Stardom. If you're having a bad day or bad week or bad few hours, let's turn that frown upside down in a positive manner, as for the next hour or so, we will be talking about what I believe is truly the best wrestling company in the world, Stardom. I am your host, Matt Turner, and today we will be reviewing nights 3 and 4 of the already fantastic and critically acclaimed 5-star Grand Prix 2022. Before we do that, we have some news, but before we get into the news, I want to give a shout out to my good buddy, Norm. Very good buddy of mine, a mentor of mine, someone that's helped me out through some hard times. Norm, about 2 weeks ago, had a really bad fall. He had a bad accident. He broke his neck. But he does have feeling in his legs and his hands. I talked to him just a little bit ago. Norm is somebody that has supported me throughout pretty much my entire wrestling career. And Norm also, if you follow me on social media, which I'm assuming most people do, and I thank you for that. If you ever see me refer to somebody as my huge coach, that's him. Norm has helped me pull up my weight over the last 5 or 6 months in a healthy way. With eating the right food and taking the right supplements and doing the right lifts and whatnot, helped me build out a lot of my strength. Norm also too, if you see me promoting my favorite beer, Funk Brewing, Norm is actually the founder of that, co-founder of that company. So if everybody if you have an extra minute or two, if you could just go on Instagram, just send Norm some positive love. His address over there is Coach Norm 3. You'll see him. He's a big, bald guy. You see him. Actually, the one picture, he's got a fake Wu-Tang tattoo on his face. Haven't seen that one before. But just send Norm some love. I know we have a lot of listeners from around the world, which is, to me, is just absolutely fantastic. I think it'd be great. Hit up Coach Norm 3 on Instagram and just send him some love around the world. I'd greatly appreciate it. We love you, Norm. Keep fighting. Keep kicking ass. Keep being you, my friend. So, get to the news segment here. Last week I forgot, and a few of you have reached out to me. I forgot to talk about the IWGP, the New Japan Women's Championship, that was announced that there will be a tournament final in November at the joint New Japan Stardom show. So a lot of people have their predictions at who the first champion will be, and I really don't think there's really a wrong answer. It could be anybody from Mayu to Kari to Toni Storm to Utami. I mean, I really don't think there's a wrong answer here. Tam, I mean, there's, Saya Kamatani, you want to, if she loses the white belt and then wins that belt, or double belt her up, there's really no wrong, Starlight Kid, there's no wrong answer here. So it's going to be really, really exciting just to see who's going to be in the tournament and to see if there's going to be wrestlers maybe from other companies. Maybe from AEW, maybe somebody from NXT UK, maybe we get a Mako Satomura in that tournament. I mean, who knows? Who knows what Triple H is going to do over there with now that he's got pretty much full control over everything. So I mean, that's a possibility. The possibilities are endless. But I kind of just want to touch base on that. I think that is going to be something very, very interesting, and something that is only going to really expand Stardom. And that's about that. It will be defended over here in the States at the end of the end of this year, beginning of next year, once New Japan starts doing some more tours over here in the United States. We've seen already, with the COVID restrictions being lifted, we've seen them already have a handful of shows. So that's, something very exciting to definitely be on the lookout for. Another quick thing of news I want to go over is some of the announced matches for Stardom X Stardom 2022, which will be taking place in a few weeks here. Just going to run down just a few matches on the card. Nanae Takahashi will be challenging Shuri for the World of Stardom Heavyweight Championship match. That match is just going to be hard hitting. That's a match where it's like, here's the finish, go out, and go and destroy each other. I don't think we're going to see a title change there. I mean, stranger things in pro wrestling have happened, but that might be the biggest shocker in the history of Stardom. If Shuri, who's on this ultimate, terror reign, if she drops the belt, to somebody who's wrestled two matches, counting the tag match, 2 matches in Stardom in the last year and a half. I just don't see that happen. I see it having a great match. Then obviously we have probably the most anticipated match in Stardom in a long, long time, as Saya Kamatani will defend the World of Stardom Championship against Kari. And I think that we've seen before in the past where they put the white belt in the main event, sometimes over the red belt. And I think this is one that they haven't done it yet. I mean, Sherry and Saya, they both won their respective championships on the same night, the end of December last year at Wrestle Queendom. I think that this is one where I think they have to switch it. I think that, ever since the two of them have been champions and then been on the same show and defending on the same show, that Sherry's always gone on last. And I understand that I'm very old school. The heavyweight belt goes on last. The championship match goes on last. But in the history of Stardom, especially when Momo was the champion, which just shows you how good Momo is we've seen the white belt go on as the main event over the red belt. And I think this is an instance where they need to switch it. I think Kari and Saya Kamatani, it's the match that's built up the most. It's the match I think that's going to be the best. It's the one that has the most intrigue, and that's the one that, a lot of people are thinking Kari's going to take the belt. As of right now, as of this recording, I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think Saya is going to retain, but I think that's a match that needs to go on last. Tag title match. As you know, I am mostly a tag team wrestler. I love a great tag team match. FWC defense against Tam and Natsupoi. That is going to be an absolute banger. Super, super looking forward to that. Future Stardom, Miyu Amasaki will challenge Hanan for the Future Stardom Championship match. That's another one that's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I wouldn't be shocked to see a title change there. They're really big into Miyu. And then the Artist of Stardom Championship, we have Mina, Unagi, and Saki, all capital letters, challenging the current champions Momo, Starlight Kid, and Saki Kashima. So two Sakis. Saki on one side, Saki on the other. Hey, I hope you love your Saki. That'll be excellent. Obviously, just the 6 individuals involved. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the team of Pink Kabuki, Mina, and Unagi. I'm really interested to see what Saki is going to continue to do on, in the 5-star. She's continuing to impress me. And then you obviously have Momo, Starlight Kid, and Saki Kashima on the other side. So, those matches, I know there's another couple ones announced, but I just kind of want to run through those. So it's like, again, I've tweeted out and put on all my social medias that Stardom in the year 2022 is having like an all-time year. I've compared them to All Japan in 94 and New Japan in 2017 as having one of the best single years in the history of wrestling. And here we are, a handful of shows into the 5-star, and they're throwing us an A++ level pay-per-view. That's like literally, for the New Japan fans listening, that's like literally putting Dominion on like 3 weeks into the into the loaded G1 climax. That's what this is. I mean, to me, that's just absolutely crazy. So, again, onward and upwards for this fantastic promotion. So, take a little sip of water here for the working man, and we'll get into the 5-star review. Match number 1, night 3, which took place on the 6th of August, as we saw Saki Kashima take on Koguma. It's kind of a very, very simple match here. You have two masters of like trick maneuvers, trick pinfalls, cradles and stuff like that. So that psychology worked in real well there, but you had some back and forth action. Nobody really getting the clean advantage first until Saki lands the Showtie palm strike, the uppercut palm strike. She gets the early, she was able to take advantage there. And then Koguma caught Saki off with the DDT. Crowd really gets behind Koguma here. They go back and forth. Eventually, Saki goes for the Kishikasai and gets countered into the Koguma roll for the win. Really, really simple match. Crowd was really behind Koguma there, especially in the beginning with the bear dance, and then getting towards the finish of the match. They really popped big for the finish. So good way to get the crowd into it. Nothing really too crazy to start this night off, but excellent match. And Koguma advances to 4 points, where poor Saki Kashima stays at the Big Goose Egg 0. And that was in the Red Star block match. But we flip over to the Blue Stars block. We see Hana taking on her mentor, Mayu Iwatani. Hana, how about jumping Mayu right from the start? She pulls like an Oedo tie, comes right out of the gate, super aggressive. Few cover attempts to try to throw Mayu off her game. Mayu responds with some stiff kicks and stiff slaps. There's that one where she has poor Hana tied up, making her pay for her sins, has her tied up in the rope and gives her a back chop. Let me tell you, folks, back chops suck. I've gotten a few back chops, and I've always said, if you're going to back chop me and not call it beforehand, you are getting a receipt. I don't care if you're in wrestling 2 years or 20. It is part of my language, a dick move. So Mayu does this back chop to Hana. It's like, hey, this is what you get, youngling, teenage kid. You jump me before the match. The leader of this group, Stars, you jump me before the match, you're going to get a back chop or back slap. And then the best part about it is then Mayu sells her hand as if she broke it. Like, she's just the best. Like, she's the only one that get away with that. I thought that was something. And then Mayu, she really starts getting back up on Hana, really getting her momentum going. Then Hana counters with some really slick new submissions. There was like this standing triangle that she did with a legs crossed that it could have went into a pinfall. And then, eventually it was a pinfall, as we'll see in the match she has the next night with Saya Kamatani. I thought that was really cool. I thought, I said before, I think this is going to be a really big coming out party for Hana. And, we've seen her just progress consistently with these future Stardom Championship matches. And now she's going to be wrestling the best of the best, the middle card, the top of the middle card, and main eventers in this tournament. So she's only going to get better. We really, really saw it here. So they did a few quick near falls. Hana hits this beautiful pumping knee. Again, something new. We've never seen her before. I thought that was done really well. Mayu winds up coming back with a super kick and then a super kick to the back of the head. Mayu hits the moonsault from the second rope. We don't see that too much for a 2 count. They go back and forth. A little bit of miscommunication between the two. Eventually, Mayu winds up slowing Hana down, and she hits a super kick, and then she hits just a dragon suplex for the win. 3 3/4 stars. Other than a little bit of miscommunication between the two, I thought this was excellent. One of Hana's best matches I've ever seen her have, and this is a really good way to introduce her into the 5-star. Good way for the fans who have never really seen her before, who really kind of just watch maybe just the YouTube stuff on YouTube, that are tuning in for the 5-star. I know several people that have subscribed to Stardom World just to watch the 5-star. So really excellent stuff here. Excellent stuff here from Hana and Mayu as well. And that will get Mayu her first 2 points of the tournament. Moving on to match number 3, the tag gauntlet match. I'm kind of just going to run through everything really quick. We get Saya Ida and Momo Kogo versus Rina and Ruaka to start. Saya goes over Ruaka with the back roll up. That brings out Hina and Miyu Amasaki, so we see the young Queen's Quest members. And Momo goes over Hina with a Hurricanrana and the leg strap. I thought that was really cool. Something we really never seen from Momo before. Maybe something that she can use into her arsenal. I thought that was done very well. Very Rey Mysterio-esque. Very what like the New Japan Juniors were doing in the 90s. And we know Liger and Milano Collection AT, who are 2 people that are really helping out over at the Stardom Dojo. So I think that'd be maybe something cool that, Momo Kogo can add into her arsenal for either a falsie or a win. I thought that was very well done. So then we see the team Mai Sakurai and Himeka. We see Mai Sakurai gets the pin over Saya Ida with a Mai Pai roll. And then that brings out the team of Pink Kabuki, Unagi, and Mina Shirakawa, 2 of my favorite wrestlers. We see Mina over Mai with the implant DDT. I gave that 3 1/4 stars. I thought that was done. It was done very well. It was a good way to get everybody on the show. Getting them in some more reps in front of the crowd, and didn't go too long. All right, and rolling right along to match number 4, we see another tag match. We see the God's Eye team of Ami Sohrei and the World of Stardom champion Shuri taking on the Queen's Quest team of Utami Hayashishita and the high-speed champion Azumi. And we see Azumi with a new shirt, and we see Utami doing a fantastic job of helping Azumi promote her new shirt. Maybe Utami's getting either a free shirt or she's getting a cut of the money. So some fantastic offense, double team offense from the Queen's Quest team. But Shirley quickly counters with her onslaught of strikes and submissions. Again, I'm just a big fan of how she just chains these together. The strikes into takedowns into submissions. She's an absolute genius at it. She's one of the best to do it since like prime Minoru Suzuki. Not that I don't enjoy Minoru Suzuki now, because even in his 50s, he's still one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. But like Minoru Suzuki, like 7-8 years ago, just like how quick she is, like after that first step for takedowns into submissions into strikes, just the way like her stance is, like it's a fighter stance. I'm just a huge fan of everything that she does. Some great exchanges between Shiri and Utami. Again, playing up that feud. We saw on night 2, Utami was finally able to beat Shuri. It's a match that I think that we're going to pretty much see before the end of the year, regardless of what happens in the 5-star. I mean, Utami did pin the champion. Her first singles pinfall loss in roughly around a year or so. So I think they did a really good job focusing on the 2 of them. It comes down to some really great exchanges between Ami Sohrei and Utami. I thought that was smart for Ami to get some reps in there with Utami, the former champion, one of the aces of the company. And I think Utami did a really, really good job making her look good. as Utami's just getting ready to finish her off with the hijack bomb, but the time limit expires. 3.5 stars. Really, really good stuff here. And some really good stuff with Azumi and Shuri as well. The two of them have some really underrated chemistry that I don't think we just don't talk about enough. So we go back to the tournament. Blue Stars block. We see Natsupoi taking on Mirai. Mirai having two big wins on back-to-back on nights 1 and 2, defeating Mayu and the favorite to win it all, Julia Natsupoi's first match of the tournament, as she was in the tag gauntlet and then teaming with her former tag partner, Kairi, in night 2. So we get some really good, clean, technical wrestling to start. Mirai uses a few submission holds to assert her dominance on Natsupoi. Natsupoi uses her quickness and strikes to get the advantage back. She tries to dive on Mirai on the outside, but Mirai lariats her off the top rope. I mean, this was just brutal. I mean, we've seen her with those lariats to the back of the neck in nights 1 and 2 in the 5-star. But this was something completely different. It reminded me of Stan Hansen and Kenta Kobashi, where Kobashi was going to go to the outside for a moonsault, he went to the top rope for a moonsault, and Stan Hansen just lariats Kobashi off the rope. Not only was it brutal, but Natsupoi did a really good job getting some air and selling it as well for Mirai. I mean, it was a really good job, Mirai, for Natsupoi to put that move over to make Mirai look even better than she did, which in return for what, the finish of the match is, you overcome that, just makes you look better, in the win. Mirai stays on top of Natsupoi with some few submission attempts. The two of them trade suplexes back to back, and then a few flash pinfall attempts until Mirai uses the left arm lariat on the double wrist lock near tap off of Natsupoi. Poor Natsupoi, her face just looks like she's in such horror and such pain. And it's another underrated game that I've really been seeing Natsupoi improve on this year, is her selling, especially facial sellings. And I mean, that's the best place to sell, is you have someone trying to give you the double wrist lock. We see Mirai win dozens and dozens of matches this past year with that double wrist lock, especially how she sets it up. And her facial expressions really did a good job drawing the crowd in. So a lot of people thought this was going to be the finish, another big win for Mirai. But Natsupoi gets the ropes and then gets hit with another huge lariat from from this year's Cinderella winner, as she sets up Natsupoi for the Mirror Mirai shot, but Natsupoi slips out into the Fairy Blink for the win. 3 3/4 stars. This was absolutely solid. Good way for Natsupoi to get on the board in this tournament in her first match. You have Mirai, who just took a lot of momentum in nights 1 and 2. Pretty much, I would say, dominate this match, but 65% of this match was Mirai. And I thought that was a really good job for Mirai just to be beating up on Natsupoi. In this match, Natsupoi really showing her selling to draw the crowd in. And then she gets out of one of Mirai's signature holds, the move that pinned Koguma to win her the Cinderella tournament. And then she takes advantage by using the Fairy Blink, which is still have no idea how humanly possible that move is. Again, solid match, 3 3/4 stars. Fantastic. We move on to match number 6. As we stay into the Blue Stars block, we see Hazuki and Starlight Kid going into this match. Both of these two wrestlers have 2 points. Really good high-speed action to start. Hazuki, one of the, back in 2018 and 19, one of the best high-speed wrestlers in Stardom. Starlight Kid really just kind of coming off a fantastic reign of the high-speed championship match. And then obviously these two have prior history with the Black Desire matches versus FWC. So really good chemistry to start, especially with the high-speed action. Starlight Kid slows Hazuki down by going to Hazuki's knee. I thought that was really good psychology, and it sets up Starlight Kid's new submission finisher, which we will get to. Good job, good way to build it and to kind of set the psychology early on in the match. Hazuki gets the advantage back with her fantastic crossface. I just hope she wins 1 or 2 matches in this tournament with that crossface. It looks so good. She boots Starlight Kid off the top rope, but then Starlight Kid goes back to Hazuki's knee. Starlight Kid goes for the Black Tiger driver, but Hazuki slips out. And then as she slips out, Starlight Kid tries to stay on her. She goes for that lion salt. As she's coming off the rope, Hazuki pump kicks Starlight Kid's knee. I thought that was really, really cool. I thought that was really cool spot. Trying to take away her speed. It's like, you're going to take away my leg power, I'm going to take away your leg power. I thought that was great. She capitalizes by going for the Michinoku driver, and it's that senton, that combination that we've seen her win several matches with. Only gets 2. She goes for the brain buster, but Starlight Kid counters, and then she goes for the Momo latch. And thank you to probably about a half a dozen people when I said that Starlight Kid won her match against Sayaka Matani on night 2 with that Hurricanrana pinhold. And I think it's like 24 hours after the podcast was released, I had 6 or 7 people saying, "Hey, Matt, that's called the Momo latch." So thank you to so many people who told me what that was. It's another Momo for me to remember. I so appreciate all the fantastic feedback and help that I get on a weekly, almost pretty much a daily basis from all you hardcore Stardom fans out there. And hey, that's where we're all here. Like I always say, we're all here together to make this product better. Okay, back to this fantastic match. Hazuki, as Starlight Kid goes for the Momo latch, Hazuki throws Starlight Kid back off the ropes. Starlight Kid comes back and hits a dragon screw leg whip, and then locks down the Black Tiger Crusher submission on Hazuki. Again, we talked about Natsupoi with her facial expressions on the submission. Hazuki's in the same boat here. A really, really good job milking the crowd near tap. Crowd is really, really behind Hazuki here. They're really getting into this one. Great job just building this whole matchup. Starlight Kid goes for the Black Tiger driver, but is countered into a Hazuki straw cradle. We thought that would be the finish, but as the ref counts one, Starlight Kid pulls her momentum back and stacks Suzuki for a near 3 count. I thought that was great. Starlight Kid goes for a low angle drop kick to Hazuki's already injured knee. Hazuki gets out of the way as Starlight Kid comes back up and feeds back up. The positioning and timing for this spot was perfect. Hazuki hits a beautiful pump kick and the brain buster for the win. Not enough people are talking about this match. As far as, nights 3, nights 4, they were back to back. A lot of people were talking about what their favorite matches were from this weekend. This was by far this one 4.5 stars. This was by far my favorite match of the 2 nights, and there was a lot of really, really good ones. Starlight Kid is having a phenomenal year. Hazuki is really, really getting going these last few months, and a lot of people are really talking about what a great tournament she had, or what where her position on the card is going to be after this tournament. She's kind of like an upper mid card tier to like somebody they can kind of put in the main events, for tag main events, or put somebody over like a Shuri in a main event. But I think that coming out of this tournament going into next year, I think she's going to be a solid main eventer. Like I said, this was fantastic. I literally had to rewind this back twice to go back and take my notes because the action was so furious. And not only that, like it's not like they did move and then didn't sell. The selling was such key, especially when Starlight Kid had Hazuki, in that leg submission, the Black Tiger leg crusher. The way Hazuki was selling and the way that the crowd was behind her. That was, it was a really, really, I think a lot of people thought that even, I think if she tapped there, it still would have been, 4.25 stars. It still would have been right up there. But they did a really good job setting the psychology in the match and the back and forth action. I thought that this was absolutely fantastic. Match number 7 of this night was our main event, and it's a Blue Stars block match. But you may as well call it the White Stars block match because you have the longest reigning white belt champion of all time and what most people consider the greatest Wonder of Stardom champion, Momo Watanabe, going up against what some people are calling the Wrestler of the Year and the current white belt / Wonder of Stardom champion, Saya Kamatani. Momo gets the early advantage with some outside interference. Shocker, right, folks? Shocker. But the way that Momo does it, it doesn't bother me that much. And I am a huge Momo Watanabe fan. And sometimes when I'm such a huge fan of yours, the things that irk me in matches, I kind of let you get away with. But Momo, very much in the vein of Kagetsu, the way that they blind the ref, it's not overly done, and it's done in a really good psychology style way. I think Momo does a really good job, and she did a good job here. Saya is able to come back with some her high-paced and high-speed offense. She has a perfect springboard plancha onto every member of Oedo Tai, all 58 of them. She throws Momo back into the ring. She tries to capitalize by going off the top rope, but Momo cuts her off and hits this brutal yet safe Uranagi. I mean, the way that Momo was able to, to handle her there was really, really good. The great bump though. I thought that was really fantastic. Good way to get the heat back. Momo hits 2 meteors. She hits the one in the back. She goes for one in the front. And I've never seen this before, and this makes sense. She goes for the second one. Your legs are, right there in perfect position, and Saya Kamatani counters into a Boston Crab. We've seen Momo chain these meteors back to back to back, and all sorts of different variations. I've never seen anybody catch her into a Boston Crab before. If it's done before, please let me know. You guys know how to get a hold of me. I thought it was really good. The crowd really comes up here. Saya gets the advantage. She stays on her with some really, really good strikes. Saya's striking has become really, really good here the past couple of months, and she's facing some absolute, killers here. So she goes for the Star Crusher. Momo counters into this like back heel sweep. We've seen her do this to Mina on night 2 of the 5-star. She does it here again. And the way that her opponent, after they bump up or they roll up, where she is, she's in perfect position for the crossface chicken wing. So I like how Momo's add that into her game. I think it's really cool. She turns it into the B driver for 2, and then she goes. She hits the bastard driver, picks her up for the tequila sunrise for another 2. I like how she chained all those holds. Crossface chicken wing, B driver, bastard driver, tequila sunrise, near for the near win. I thought that was great. She goes for the peach sunrise. Saya winds up countering into the blue thunder bomb. She goes for the phoenix splash, but gets cut off. Momo tries the top rope German suplex. But as she throws Saya lands on her feet. How good, folks, is Saya Kamatani? Just so good. Back and forth they go as Saya Kamatani hits that schoolboy bomb for just a 2 count. Crowd is really into this. Very, very hot. They were hot for the whole entire show. But these competitors, especially these last 3 matches, did a really good job taking on the roller coaster ride of emotions and psychology. She goes for the Star Crusher, but that gets counters. The 2 trade kicks back and forth. Eventually, Saya Kamatani hits that leg whip, leg lariat to get the advantage on the Momo, hits the Star Crusher, and instead of the Phoenix Splash, she goes for the 450, the Firebird Splash for the win, 4.25 stars. Thought this was fantastic. I like the Hazuki Starlight Kid match just a little bit better. But yeah, 4.25 stars for me as your main event. And we move on to night number 4, which took place on the 7th of August, as we see a Blue Stars match, Mina Shirakawa versus Saya Iida. Hard-hitting action to start between the 2 of them, trading forearms and chops. And then we see Mina. We've seen her on social media throwing those kicks in some dojo in Japan, I'm assuming Japan. And she does a lot of kicks here, and Saya does a really good job feeding for them. And I think this just adds to Mina's offense. You know, she has the spinning back fist, the forearms that jump up in Saguri. Now she's having these really, really good kicks. And Saya did a really good job feeding and getting the kicks over. Saya, again, of course, counters with those Kenta Kobashi-like chops. 2 of them trade strikes back and forth. Eventually, Mina hits 2 rolling elbows. And then she hits the Jushin Liger combo kick. I thought that was cool. It's like, oh, we're adding that in now? Go for you, Mina. I thought it looked pretty good. Could have been a little bit better. Could have been a lot worse. So, but I thought it looked, for the first time out here, I thought that looked really good. And I hope it's a move she continues to use. And then she follows up with the glorious driver, Mina. I actually have times for this show. So this was, this match got done in less than 5 minutes. 4 minutes and 50 seconds of pretty much nonstop action. Really good psychology. I like how Mina, she hits the 2 elbows, the 2 rolling elbows, and then the combo kick, and then she goes into her finish. So she channels the late great Mitsuharu Misawa, and then she channels Jushin Thunder Liger, and then she uses her own finish. So good on her. 3.5 stars. Really good way to start the show. And that takes Mina to 4 points. I know there were some people that Mina would win 1 match, 2 matches. I think there might have been 1 or 2 people on the Patreon poll that actually had Mina winning the Blue Stars block match. So I thought Mina would do okay in this tournament. I didn't think she'd do that good by winning the Blue Stars. But she's 2 for 2 here, you know, getting 4 points. So good on her. And she's another one that I had pegged that is going to come out of this tournament looking really, really good, regardless of how many wins or losses she has. Remember, folks, it's not who goes over, it's who gets over. We stay in the Blue Stars block as we see a championship match here between Queen's Quest, Saya Kamatani, the Wonder of Stardom champion, who has 2 points going into this match, versus the future of Stardom champion, Hanan. Again, I talked about how great her match was with Mayu. I like this one even a little bit better. So let's get into it. Some really good technical and chain wrestling to start. Saya Kamatani uses her fast-paced and high-impact offense to get the early advantage. Hana counters Saya's high-speed offense with the knee bar to take advantage of Saya's speed. That was really good psychology there by the 17-year-old. Really good way. You know, here comes Saya. She's building momentum. Let me take away her speed. You know, I have that judo background and into this fantastic rolling knee bar. I thought it was really good. 2 go back and forth with a great forearm battle that Hana actually drops Saya Kamatani. You know, I just talked about how good Saya's striking is the last few months, and Hana gets the better of. I thought that was really good. Hana uses the judo throw into that reverse triangle. She gets a near fall as Saya's coming up. Hana does a good job staying on the Wonder of Stardom champion with the rocker dropper for 2. Crowd starting really, really get behind Hana here. I thought that was very interesting. I mean, obviously, Saya Kamatani, she's Saya Kamatani. She's fantastic, possible wrestler of the year. But at this point, they're really getting behind Hana. I think they kind of wanted to see an upset. Saya comes back with a flurry of kicks for a 2 count. Hana escapes the Star Crusher with a roll up for a near three, and that was a really good job by both Saya Kamatani and the ref by getting out at the barely escape. I mean, I think when the roll first happened, nobody thought there was going to be a three count. As they got to 2.5, and that ref's arm was coming down, and Saya's shoulders were nowhere near off the mat, the crowd bit. So kudos to all three: the ref, Saya on Hana, Hanan, on that. I always say, if you have a really good ref, it could really make a good match, a great match, and a great match, an excellent match. If you have a bad ref, it can take a good match and just make it average. And obviously, the refs here in Stardom are fantastic. And that just, there's three people in the ring. So, I mean, use it to the advantage. And they did here. I thought that was great. They feed back up. Saya Kamatani hits the jumping leg lariat and then the Star Crusher for the win. Wow. They got that all done in 8 minutes, 37 seconds. 4 stars for me, and this is the best Hana singles match I've ever seen. And this just adds to my theory of how great this young wrestler from Stars is going to be. And the other theory, which is pretty much now a fact, adding on to what is Saya Kamatani's absolute fantastic breakout year, and she will probably finish either 1 or 1B for Wrestler of the Year. Just absolutely fantastic match. Hana stays at 0. Saya Kamatani goes to 4 points, which if Saya keeps on this roll that she's on, keeps winning, well, again, what's the possibility that she loses the belt to Kari here in a few weeks at Stardom X Stardom, and then she wins the whole tournament, and then we get to see what I think are the two best wrestlers this year, Shuri versus Saya Kamatani, somewhere down the road. It's a possibility, folks. It's a possibility. We move on to match number 3 as you hear my papers turning. I'm still old school. Eventually, I will write these notes on my computer that's literally right in front of me as I'm recording. We go to the Red Stars block as we see the high-speed champion, Azumi, taking on the ever-improving Mei Sakurai. And Mei Sakurai taking a book out of a Wado tie, attacking Azumi before the bell, and hitting a huge Yakuza kick to get the other advantage. Very rude. Very rude to do that to the high-speed champion. But Izumi gets the advantage back by using her high-speed offense and using some kicks to Mei Sakurai's arm and her head. Mei's able to block to counter some of Azumi as Azumi is building pace in this match by coming off the ropes with some of those kicks, some of those strikes. Mei Sakurai uses that Landstorm style half crab. If you're a fan of Landstorm, you know what I mean. When the opponent's running at you, you kind of dip under and then you roll into the single leg crab, which I believe Lance Storm called that the Canadian Maple Leaf. And then she transitioned to the FTF. We've seen her do that move several times, and it's a combination I like to see Mei Sakurai win a few matches with. We've seen her win matches with the Gourd Buster and then that trip up pinfall that she does. I like to see her win a few matches with the half crab into the STF. I think it's very, very well done. Azumi is forced; she can't get out of the STF. She's forced to get to the ropes. But Mei Sakurai stays on Azumi with another big boot that sends Azumi almost through the ropes. She pulls Azumi in for a 2 count. Mei goes to the top rope, but Azumi hits that beautiful arm drag off the top rope, and then she locks in an arm bar to try to get Mei Sakurai to tap out. The two go back and forth with some near falls. Azumi goes for the Azumi Sushi. That gets countered. The two of them go back and forth with some more near falls. I thought that was very well done. Azumi hits the double stomp and then that leg captured German suplex for the win, which he now calls the C4 bomb. And I've been saying this podcast for a few months now that Azumi, she's got the Azumi Sushi, she's got the numero uno. We've seen her win some matches with the double stomp. And I always thought, that leg captured German suplex, the way she builds it and gets into it and the way she hits it, it's something that she should use for a finish. And the fact that they put it over on social media, it's called the C4 bomb. I think it's a match a move we're going to see Azumi winning a lot of matches with. So pretty much you take kind of a signature move and now we're building it into a finisher. Very smart on Azumi to put that in her arsenal. And this is a good way to get this move over. In the 5-star. So this one got done in 6 minutes 56 seconds, 3 3/4 stars. Really, really solid match. We stay, and that gets Azumi to 2 points, and Mei Sakurai stays at a goose egg. We stay in the Red Stars block action as we see Utami Aishita versus Unagi representing Cosmic Angels. You basically have a classic speed versus power match here. Really no clear advantage the first few minutes with some really good chain wrestling and some counters back and forth. but Unagi gets the first real advantage by countering, ducking one of Utami's clotheslines into a facebuster. And then she locks in this crossface variation, which she used a couple times in this match. Again, see a lot of people breaking out some new holds here. So, good on Unagi, adding more stuff in your arsenal. I mean, this is the place to shine. This is the place to showcase some new stuff, whether it be like a new pose, a new catchphrase, some new gear, which we see a lot of, or a new move or a new psychology. So, really good stuff here. And Utami does a really good job selling and putting it over. I mean, excellent, excellent stuff. I mean, her selling here is just on spot, on point, really making Unagi look good and getting this move over. Unagi hits a code breaker out of the corner for two, and then she locks in the gory stretch and then goes right back into the crossface again. I am really interested to see if she's named this, or if it's because I've never seen her really do this variation before. Like, it looked like she had, with the way her arms or her hands were, they weren't like in the S grip or the gable grip, or in the three finger grip. They're more like into like the cravat. So I thought that was done really well. If she has a name for this hold, guys, please let me know. You guys do a fantastic job educating me on the things that I miss or I'm just not sure of. But if she has a name for this hold, please let me know. Utami eventually gets the advantage back with a torture rack Samoan style drop and then an air raid crash. Utami goes for a torture rack bomb. Unagi's able to slip out with a DDT, and then she hits the shell shock. I will always call that the shell shock. It's Alex Shelley's one of my favorite wrestlers and one of the nicest people I've ever met in wrestling, and it's helped me out a great deal. Another story for another day. She hits that for the 2 count. Utami comes back with a pair of big German suplexes. The crowd starts really, really coming up here, and then the finish here kind of came off flat. Like as this match was building here, she hits with the 2 German suplexes. Utami hits a reverse torture rack bomb for the win. 11 minutes 4 seconds, really good action. But it seemed like there might have been like 1 or 2 things they were gonna do after the 2 German suplexes, maybe for Unagi to kind of come back up. But it just kind of hits like the torture rack bomb. Instead of taking the bump on the back, she took it on the face. 3.5 stars. Really, really good match. Good job getting Unagi over. Here's Utami, top of the card, former champion. A lot of people's pick to win, this block, the Red Stars block. And she did, on this one, she was kind of on the defensive. I would have had this like 60-40 for Unagi. And a really good job, Utami, selling that crossface and the gory stretch. So good job on Utami, making Unagi, who's really coming into her own, another one really coming into her own, making her look that much better. That's what it's all about, folks. Bring them up. Match number 5 saw the team of Shuri and Mirai representing God's Eye versus what I call the young Queen's Quest team of Hina versus Miyu Yamasaki. As soon as this popped up on my computer, literally the first note I have is, does Miyu and Hina, did they have heat with The Office? Like, did they put shaving cream in Horacio Gawa's hat, or like were late to a show, or like playing practical jokes on somebody backstage? Like, were they doing the old, Scott Hall, Owen Hart, Kurt Hennig ribs like to somebody backstage? Because like you have these 2 young, fantastic wrestlers, and you're putting the ring with 2 killers. That's pretty much what happened here. But Miyu and Hina, they look solid. The stuff they were able to get. I mean, but let's face it. Shuri and Mariah, they're top of the card. Shuri's the champion. She won this tournament last year. Mariah just won the Cinderella tournament. She's coming off 2 big back-to-back wins on nights 1 and night 2. I mean, this was, I wouldn't say glorified squash. I mean, they did, Shuri and Mariah. Mariah was a little more generous than Shuri, and rightfully so, on giving certain things to Miyu and Hina. They did a good job here. They did a good job selling. But, I mean, really, it was just about getting Shuri and Mariah over. Mariah gets the, I mean, really, it's just these 2, they're going to be great. I mean, they're great now. Hina and Miyu are great now. In a couple years, they're just going to be fantastic. But really, this was kind of more of just like a beatdown, especially on Shuri's part. Mariah, I mean, really, not really much to write home here. They worked hard, 3 3/4 stars. Mariah gets Miyu to tap out via the double wrist lock. So nothing bad there, solid. But you knew when this match came about, when these 4 in the ring, what was going to happen. Not much of a shock here. We go back to the tournament. Red Stars block action as we see Koguma taking on Himeka. Koguma 2 for 2. She's at the top of the block going into this match with 4 points. Himeka has 2 points by defeating Utami in one of the biggest upsets in night 1. The 2 start with the bear dance. So the crowd's really into it. Everybody's so nice and so happy. And then you see Himeka run to the hills, run for, well, not her life, but basically runs full sprint into the ropes as Koguma stops the bear dance. She turns around to see a brutal lariat in her face right from the get-go. Koguma tries to mount a comeback, but anytime she does, Himika just keeps going back to the series of lariats and then locks in a half Boston Crab. Himika hits a JP Coaster for two. I've noticed Himika this past couple months, she's been using that move like the JP Coaster. It's supposed to be like one of her finishers or one of her bigger moves. And she's kind of hitting like in the middle of the match, almost like as a transition, which I know she's going to the lariat and then the concussion bomb. I think the concussion bomb, that giant running power bomb, probably is her best hold, but I don't like the fact that she's kind of just downgraded the JP Coaster. It's kind of a really, really cool move. So I've noticed that the past couple matches. But regardless, she hits the JP Coaster for two. She goes for another lariat, one of many. Koguma ducks the lariat and hits a huge German suplex, but Himika, fighting spirits out, pops up, hits another lariat. She hits a few more lariats, and then the concussion bomb for the win. 7 minutes and 54 seconds. This was very dominant for Himika. This was like 80-20. I mean, Koguma didn't get much offense at all. That German suplex, I mean, she made it count. That was her big move of the match. I mean, when you're lifting up one of the larger and stronger people in the company, in the promotion. I mean, Koguma's German suplex is fantastic, and that was a really cool sight to see. The crowd popped for it, and they popped even bigger when Himika, fighting spirit out. She came up, hits the big monster lariat, and then the concussion bomb. 3.25 stars. Really good job getting Himika over here, as that puts Himika at the top of the block with 4 stars. We move into the semi-main event of this show. Blue Stars block, Natsupoi taking on Ami Sohrei, both competitors, 2 points going in. Natsupoi does a really good job blocking and evading Ami Sohrei's offense and then following up, kind of like stick and move, like, Muhammad Ali. Not only do you want to dodge and counter, but you want to hit something, move, and then hit something again. That's what this was, another classic speed first power match. I thought that was really good psychology. Poi locks in the Black Widow's submission, the tilted octopus, tilt-a-whirl octopus submission, and then Ami Sohrei has to get to the ropes. And then Natsupoi follows up with a dropkick in the ropes. I thought that was really good. But then Ami Sohrei returns the submission in kind by getting Natsupoi down with a big high angle body slam and then a high angle Boston Crab that she does where she grips it around the knees. I think it's really cool. We see a lot of people do Boston Crabs in different variations, and hers is just different. Like how she kind of almost like bear hugs. Yeah, imagine if she did the Koguma, the bear hug on the bear, but basically bear hugs the ankles and the Boston Crab, especially for how big she is against the smaller Natsupoi. Again, Natsupoi selling the torture on her face. Fantastic job here. And then she stays with the work on the back by putting the torture rack on Natsupoi. And then Ami Sohrei hits a huge Blue Thunder bomb for 2. And then Ami Sohrei is trying to finish off Natsupoi with the Brain Buster. But once again, just like how she did the night before, Natsupoi is able to slip out of the Brain Buster into the Ferial Blink at 10 minutes, 39 seconds as Natsupoi advances to 4 points. I thought this was really, really solid. I said actually 4 stars. I mean, I thought the psychology was really good. The way Natsupoi was able to duck and evade, the way that Ami Sohrei, once she was able to get Natsupoi, really put the beat down on her, and then the way that Natsupoi was able to sell for Ami Sohrei, and the way that Natsupoi really, was able to take such a beating getting towards the end of this match. Just that Blue Thunder bomb, that was just, I mean, what was the bigger power bomb? The concussion bomb, the match before, the Blue Thunder? I mean, just huge. And then she's able to escape the deadly Brain Buster for the Ferial Blink. The psychologist match I thought was really, really spot on. And then we get to the main event of this show, match number 8, as we see the team representing Stars, Mayu Iwatani, Momo Kogo, and Hazuki versus the Uedo Tai team of Saki Kashima, Momo Watanabe, and Rina. To the shock of absolutely no one, this match starts out with, guess what, folks? A wild brawl. We get some really good stuff with Saki Kashima and Momo Kogo as the two of them go back and forth. I thought their stuff was really, really good. And then we see Mayu getting tagged in, going up against Saki Kashima here. This feud will never end. Their stuff is really good. Their chemistry is so fantastic. I thought the two of them, the little mini match that they had, I thought was really, really good, kind of going back and forth with Mayu getting the advantage. And then we see some really good triple team work from Stars, Momo, Mayu, and Hazuki. Some really good stuff there, including the triple boot scrapes into the triple face wash. I'll never get sick of that. And it always just impresses me how when three people are running off the ropes on the same side, the opposite sides, how nobody gets ricocheted off and nobody falls. And we've seen stars do this in in tag matches, triple or 6 person and 8 person tag matches, and they never mess it up. It's just, to me, that's like the coolest thing. Like it's just so cool because all it takes is one person being a half a step up to ricochet the ropes into somebody and to throw that spot completely out the water, and they never do. They hit it like perfect every time. Now I just think that the next match someone's gonna go flying. Then we get some more stuff here, or we get some stuff between Momo and Mayu. Can't wait for their match. I think in a day or two I'm going to be recording for the Patreon for the Red Belt here listeners. Their 5-star match from 2019. I just love the chemistry between Momo and Mayu. We get it for about 2 minutes. I can't wait for that match. Coming up on the Blue Stars block. So we get a mini match there. Really good job setting the table there. And we get some more stuff with some Momo Kogo. Again, I'm a big fan of Momo Kogo, how she's stringing her big moves together. She hits the 619 springboard dropkick for 2. She goes for she goes for that, like the rich clutch, the nectar peach. I couldn't think of it. The rich clutch, Northern Lights suplex, the nectar peach. That gets fought out. Eventually, she gets a little bit of heat on her. Tags in Hazuki, and you know what we're gonna get, folks. I love it. You love it. Hazuki Mania runs wild, folks, onto Oedo Tai as she goes over, pretty much beats up on everybody, especially Rina. She sells to the outside, but the Stars team will not let the dirty, dirty heels of Oedo Tai breathe as we see the patented. Anytime you see Mayu and Hazuki on the same team, you know you're going to get it. The double suicide dives from the two of them. I thought it was really smart that after they hit that dive, they get their pop from the crowd. That's probably the biggest they're going to get the crowd. Hazuki throws Rina in the ring, and then she strings together the classic combination of the Michinoku driver and the senton on Rina to get the win and send the fans home happy at 17 minutes, 32 seconds, 3.5 stars. Really good main event. Maybe went a touch too long, but at the same time, you're able to see, we got a lot of Mayu in there. We got a lot of Momo. Everybody got like their own shine in there. Everybody looked really good. And then we got kind of some mini matches in there as well, as the 5-star, it is going to just roll on. And speaking of the 5-star rolling on, as you're listening to this Friday, well, I hope, if you're listening to this as soon as it drops, this will drop on Friday. The day before, we have an absolute stacked stack. I'm going to go through just a couple of the matches in the next 3 days, and pending on when Stardom World uploads them, there might be 3 shows to review next week. So, fingers crossed. They did a pretty good job getting, obviously, the first 2 shows were live, and then the next 2 shows, I think it took them 2 days for them to get up on Stardom World. So hopefully, hey, Stardom, it's awesome that you got this fancy luxury bus for your wrestlers to travel in. Obviously, you want to keep them happy and healthy. But if Stardom and Bushiroad are throwing some money at Stardom, and well deserved, let's put some money into the streaming service here. Let's put some money into a streaming service. I think there's a lot more people, especially here in America, that will subscribe to Stardom World if they don't have a delay. I mean, I know so many people that subscribe to New Japan World, and one of the main reasons is because they can watch every show live as it happens, and New Japan World, that's been a thing for them for, close to a decade. So it just happened on the 11th. This show on the 11th, I'm recording this on a Wednesday. So this show tomorrow morning, it's absolutely insane. Like at Tam Azumi, Koguma and Saki. I mean, Utami, Risa Sera. And we go over to the Blue Stars. Starlight Kid and Momo. Now they're a tag team. Remember what they did last year with the feud with like the greatest count out ever in the history of wrestling? So now you're getting Starlight Kid versus Momo. It might be like who's going to out-cheat who. Hazuki and Natsupoi. I mean, Hazuki is right now probably the MVP of the tournament. I know we're only 4 days in, and Natsupoi has all that steam on her coming off that turn. Mayu and Saida, that'll be fun. Interesting to see what Ami Soren and Hana's going to do, because you have the overpowering of Ami Soren. I don't even know who's going to win that match. Is this where they give Hana her first win? And then maybe the match I'm looking forward to the most, Suzu Suzuki, her first match in the tournament coming off the illness that she had. I believe she tested positive for COVID, versus Mirai. I mean, that's just absolutely fantastic. And then we move on to the 13th. Let's see what Saki Kashima and Maika. That'll be something good, because you never know. Maika with her power, she might be going for a suplex or Michinoku driver. Saki just might counter with the Kishikasai. So that one just not to blink for. Hana and Momo Watanabe, that's going to be fantastic. Hana's had two bangers already in this tournament with two of the top stars of Stardom. And then she's going against one of my favorites, Momo. Mina Shirakawa, can she keep on her roll against Suzuki? And then the match I'm probably looking forward to the most on the 13th is we see a rematch from earlier in the year, Natsupoi versus Saya Kamatani. I don't know who's going to take that one. That's a tough, tough one. And then we move on to the 14th as we have a Himika versus Zuzumi. Oh, that's going to be good. That's going to be good. Julia versus Hanan. Again, boy, I mean, Hanan, she's in the fire with every one of these matches just because of how stacked this tournament is. And she's literally facing the best of the best. Mirai and Hazuki, that's probably, I don't know, match I'm looking forward to the most. Either Mirai versus Suzuki or Natsupoi versus Momo Watanabe. I mean, these hits keep coming. We literally have in the next, on the next 4 days, on the next 5 days, three solid cards. Boy, we are so, so lucky. And then, of course, we have coming up then in a week, week and a half time, Stardom X Stardom 2022. So I will go through now that we have four shows done. I will go through my top five matches. Number five, I didn't write any of these down, so I'm kind of just going off the top of my head, so bear with me. Number five, I am going to go with Saya Kamatani versus Starlight Kid. Number four will be Starlight Kid versus Suzuki. Number three will be Shuri versus Azumi. Number two will be Hazuki versus Julia, and number one will be Shuri versus Utami. Again, these all I may change those tomorrow without even watching the next show. I mean, those are kind of just off the top of my head. What I'm going with, just because I'm trying to still maybe even go back watching some of these matches with a little bit of free time that I have. So fantastic, just a fantastic show, and I thank everybody so much for listening and all the positive feedback that you give me and any of the, any suggestions that I've been getting. I'm taking them into consideration on certain things and really just anything I can do to help improve the show. It's like I said, it's not just my show, it's your show as well. So thank you everybody. Thank you to the editor in chief, my man Sean. I know he's going to be editing this podcast pretty much as soon as I upload it, as he's going in the next day or two to New York City to go see, I think he told me, Rage Against the Machine. So enjoy that, my friend. Rage, one of my favorite bands in high school growing up. I hope it's absolutely fantastic. I hope you have a great time and you get there safe and you get home safe. And again, I speak on the entire friends and family of the Stardom cast. I say thank you for everything that you do and making me sound somewhat halfway decent, uploading these podcasts in such a timely manner. I know you're such a busy guy and you've been doing such a great job, with taking this, the Stardom cast, taking it to the next level. And we're probably going to be doing, John, I will message you soon. We're probably going to be doing another watch along with him in the next day or two. I have an idea of or not day or two, week or two. He's like, wait, what? He probably is editing this. He's like, wait, what? I'm busy. In the next week or two, I will have that. We'll have to talk about it. But I have a really good idea. Another free watch along. We did the Mayu versus Momo match for the red belt that he absolutely loved, and I know I had such great feedback. Everybody loved them on the show. So hey, let's get him back on. Let's get back on. I might just have to bribe him some more pizza from Pizza Capital of the World, Old Forge, Pennsylvania. So I'm sure if his wife's listening to this, she's got a big smile on her face and the 2 thumbs up. So hey, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Thanks to all the Patreon listeners. Greatly appreciate the support. As in the next week or two, the Hana Kimura 2019 5-star Grand Prix run will be up in your feeds. And at the end of the month, the Tony Storm 2017 5-star run will be up in your feeds, as I will start that homework probably this weekend. Also, coming up on Monday, the next watch along, Momo Watanabe versus Mayu Iwatani from the 2019 5-star Grand Prix, as we are going to stay with the 5-star Grand Prix theme on our weekly watch alongs. And it seems that everybody seems to be enjoying that, because it seems like every time I log on to Patreon, we always have a few new Patreon members signing up to the Red Belt tier member. So I greatly appreciate the support. And tells me that you guys are watching the enjoying the watch alongs, and I enjoy doing it. I've been watching wrestling and talk about wrestling pretty much 90% of my life. So it's nice to have an audience all over the world. So I thank everybody so much. Any questions, comments, guys, please let me know. Matt Turner OF on Instagram and Twitter, or you can hit up the Stardom Cast on Twitter as I check that as well. In about a week or so, the Matt Turner 20th anniversary shirts will be in my possession. I have some in black and some in white. If you look at the cover, if you look, I posted the picture on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll be posting it again soon. For all you comic book fans, if it looks familiar, what my man Alex Sanchez, my artist, my go-to guy, did is he took the cover from Tales from Suspense, the very first Iron Man appearance of Iron Man, and he basically just put my stuff in there. So if that's where that looks familiar, that's where it's from. If you want a shirt, let me know. Send me a DM. And as always, if anybody's ever ordered anything from me, I always send some free extra stuff and some extra goodies. So let me know. Again, Matt Turner OF on Twitter and the Instagram. But I think that's just about it, folks, as we're getting close to the hour mark. So I thank everybody so much for listening. Let me know. Let me know what you guys, who so far is your MVP. Give me your top 3 matches, 4 matches, 5-star matches. What matches you're looking forward to the most coming up here, in the next couple days with these 3 loaded shows. Let me know if you think that Kari is going to take the white belt, as it looks like a lot of people I talked to, they thinking that she is. They think that she's going to. I'm saying it's not going to happen, but I've been wrong several times before. Let me know. Like I said, questions, comments, positive feedback, guys. Thank you so much. I love you guys just so much. Just the positive energy I get from around the world from this podcast, and just the positive energy from this fantastic promotion that is Stardom can't be understated. So remember, guys, we're all in this together, and everybody's different. Everybody's special. Have a good day, great night. Remember, Uncle MT loves you all.